the Edge of Containment, everyone. I'm your host, Swift Edge. Today, we are back inside the wonderful, scary, terrifying, oh my gosh, world of SCP. This time with two different channels to explain one particular entity that what I found is just so vile, so evil, and is a giant heart, or maybe a small heart, I don't know. This is the Heart of Darkness, SCP-058, and we have animations from Zico, and then we have over with SCP Explained Story and Animation with, again, Heart of Darkness. If this is exactly what I'm thinking is, which, you know, looking at these pictures, it just looks like it is a giant heart with tentacles, and the fact that it is described from anything I've heard of is, it's just evil. It is one of those SCPs that just should be destroyed. We're gonna learn about it today because there's so many SCPs that I don't know about that I want to learn about because the SCP world is vast, it's beautiful, it's fantastic, it's terrifying. But I hope you got your snacks, hope you got your drinks, hope you've had your water today or it's gonna come and get you. We're gonna go ahead and learn about this particular entity today. We got boots on the ground, soldiers, let's go, go, go! And they're in the facility too. Oh, you have so many containment breaches, it's not even funny. Oh, it's so fast! It's whispering as it's killing them. This thing is fast! And dang near indestructible! And now it's broken out. Oh my gosh. Even the symbiote's looking at how fast that's going is like, dang!
It skitters in the dark, its insect-like legs tapping across the marble floors as terrified Foundation researchers flee. They hear its voice,
SCP Explained.
the deep, silky tones of an elderly British man, spouting nonsense like, "The nightmare is a dream to the nameless slug that wanders across minefield in the remains of deer and kings."
So it's pretty much a cosmic eldritch horror is what it's pretty much being. Oh
the scientists run, the creature gains on them. It's fast, impossibly fast. While they still try to escape down this darkened hallway, ear-splitting containment breach sirens blast through the air. They may try to escape, but it's futile. In a sense, they're already dead. All they are now is prey for the Heart of Darkness. When someone says the word heart, there are a lot of images that come to mind.
Oh, yeah,
you might think of Valentine's Day, heart-shaped cards and candies. You might think of heartbreak, rejection, loss. You might simply think of a heart in the anatomical sense, the vital organ that pumps blood through our bodies. It's unlikely, though, that you would associate the word heart with terror, destruction, and countless deaths. However, employees of the SCP Foundation might think differently, especially if they've ever had a run-in with SCP-058. Much of the—
You gotta think, what does it take to actually work for the SCP Foundation, and what does it take for someone to decide, I'm gonna quit? Because if you walk in on your first day and you just see everything that's being contained, what person in the right mind goes, I found my calling? I'd be like, resignation, give me whatever I need to forget this place, because I'm out.
Information about 058's discovery is highly classified, but the few details that are known paint a chilling picture. At an SCP Foundation test site, the day was proceeding as usual, with scientists and security personnel going about their regular daily tasks. There was no hint of danger in the air, beyond the base level that always comes with setting foot in an SCP Foundation site, at least.
Yeah,
several researchers were performing an experiment, the specifics of which have been expunged from all records, involving the carcass of a cow. When a researcher, Dr. C, placed his hands on the specimen and prepared to dissect it, he was shocked to feel a pulse coming from the supposedly dead animal. Dr. C shared his surprise with his colleagues, but his concerns were dismissed immediately. Clearly this was a corpse. He was imagining things, they said.
Well, then you put your hands on it.
He was relatively new to the job. It was probably just nerves. The head researcher, Dr. L, insisted that he take over. Pushing Dr. C to the side, Dr. L began to make an incision into the animal's chest. As he did, he too felt something peculiar. There was no doubt about it. This dead cow had a beating heart. He looked up from his work to tell the other researchers to explain what he felt, but by then, it was too late. Something horrible was already happening. With a stomach-churning sound of squishing flesh, the cow's heart burst from its chest and flopped onto the floor. It was terrifyingly large, and all the doctors jumped back from the sight of it. 4 spindly, spider-like legs poked through the flesh of the heart, and it began to quickly skitter about the room. Researchers reviewing the security footage would later note that it didn't just move randomly. It seemed agitated, angry at being discovered, and it displayed immediate hostility towards the scientists in the room. 4 tentacles next unfurled from within the heart and stretched out into full, writhing appendages. They moved frighteningly fast as the heart whipped around the room and were coated in sharp spines. Finally, a stinger poked out from the back of the heart, where the whole of the superior vena cava should be. All of the scientists leapt into action, with one reaching for a scalpel and another moving towards
that's just gonna
the door.
piss it off
but
more.
Before the men could so much as call for help, the tentacles wrapped around them and ripped them to shreds. Hearing screams coming from the laboratory, security personnel arrived to contain the threat. However, they were no match for the strange creature that would soon be known as SCP-058. It tore through the security team in minutes, leaving their tattered remains in its wake.
Kind of like the other video we just watched.
Surviving personnel at the site, SCP-058 was able to escape containment and make its way to a neighboring town. Reports of the incident said that when the creature reached the town, you could hear the screaming for miles.
Yeah, good luck with the SCP Foundation covering that up, because, you know, cell phones exist, the internet exists, man, all it takes is one streamer, and it's just worldwide really fast.
SCP-058 carved a path of violence through the town, attacking everything in sight with its stinger and tentacles, and
That
leaving a trail of
small
strange
heart
fluid
did all
from
that?
its stinger. Dozens of citizens were killed, and 70% of the buildings were completely destroyed. When agents were dispatched to the location to retrieve the creature, they were shocked to see the level of destruction caused by something so small. The scent of blood and smoke filled the air, and severed limbs littered the ground alongside splintered wood and collapsed brick. The survivors removed from the wreckage were inconsolable, only calming down once they were given an amnestic to erase their memory of the encounter with SCP-058.
Those help.
They had to be given new lives as well, as there was nothing left of their old ones. SCP Foundation agents were only able to capture and contain SCP-058 after it was crushed by pieces of a building that collapsed on top of it. They found it flattened under a slab of stone, legs flailing uselessly, tentacles limp. The agents were able to safely remove the debris and bring in the heart without any more casualties that day. Once it was brought into captivity, the heart was contained for 3 weeks and remained largely quiet during that time. It was almost inconceivable that this small creature hadn't been killed in the incident, but the Foundation would soon learn that this creature was freakishly durable. It escaped once more while being transferred to an SCP containment site, again causing injuries and death. Having only experienced SCP-058 in its docile, injured form, the team responsible for the transfer was unprepared for the sheer power and violence the creature was capable of.
No one prepped them? No one told them? Like, no, this thing is actually a vicious little bugger. Like, he is mean. He is destructive. No one talks? No one gives memos back and forth at the freaking Foundation?
It was able to escape an armored car and make its way into a forest, where it eviscerated several squirrels and rabbits.
Like, shoved it down?
They were believed to be squirrels and rabbits. The remains were too mutilated to properly identify. It was only finally apprehended after being crushed by an armored tank. But even this didn't kill the creature, and it was transferred to Armed Biocontainment Area 14, where it remains to this day. There is a great deal about SCP-058 that is horrifying, but there is one attribute it has shown in captivity that would make even the most seasoned researcher's skin crawl. Though it has no anatomical capacity for speech, no throat, vocal cords, or even a respiratory system, SCP-058 speaks. Not only does it speak, but it speaks constantly, in the deep voice of an elderly British man. No one knows who the voice might belong to, or if it belongs to anyone at all.
Probably
Perhaps
nobody.
it belongs only to SCP-058 somehow. As is often the case with SCPs that are capable of speech, there have been multiple attempts to interview the creature, and each time, it ended in complete disaster. The only interview with an available transcript, Interview 05804, was conducted by Dr. Johnston with several personnel in the room for additional security. Dr. Johnston attempted to get at the origins of the creature, asking for its name and where it was from. The creature responded in cryptic, unsettling poetry, giving answers to simple questions with, "I had dreams of the Queen, wonders that lived inside the hearts of love, and silent treatments for all the elderly that I knew were once whole."
What the
After the
fudge
fourth
does that
recitation of
mean?
a similar verse from the heart, Personnel D-067 made a comment on the creepy nature of its responses, almost as if it was offended by the remark. SCP-058 immediately stretched a tentacle across the room, wrapped it around D-067 and lifted him into the air. He began screaming and clawing at the tentacle in an attempt to free himself.
So don't
as his
offend
fellow
him.
personnel tried to help him. They grabbed at the tentacle, but found their hands pierced and bloodied by the spikes that cover it. Dr. Johnston commanded 058 to let him go, but it did not oblige. Instead, the man was crushed to death by the tentacle, and his limp body left to drop to the floor.
Don't
The interview
offend him.
concluded with a single statement from the nightmarish heart. "The sensual violence of lust is all the assurance you will ever need to know the worth of life." SCP-058 never seems to say
cryptic
anything
little
that has to
thing.
do with the people or events around it. It speaks in the same haunting, poetic language even when it's attacking or killing something. No matter what happens to it, what is done to it, or what anyone says, SCP-058 keeps talking, and its tone of voice with the pace of speech never changing, and further attempts to interview it have been abandoned due to the safety risk involved. So what happened to the creature often called the Heart of Darkness? Where is it now? SCP-058
Destroyed,
is kept in
hopefully.
an isolated containment chamber made of reinforced heat-resistant steel with a backing of reinforced concrete. In
Love
order
that.
to placate its bloodthirsty, carnivorous tendencies, the creature is given a live cow every 3 days. It is uncertain how exactly SCP-058 eats, given that it does not have a mouth or stomach, but every time it is finished with a cow, only bones remain. Routine maintenance is
absorbing it?
conducted on a tight schedule, and the heart is never allowed out of its containment area under any circumstances. After 2 previous escapes from containment, the Foundation is not taking any chances.
Oh, now
its
you're
constant
intelligent.
speech is recorded via audio devices that are running at all times. Out of concern for their safety and mental health, no personnel are permitted to listen to recordings of SCP-058 speaking for more than 30 minutes at a time. It is unknown what will happen to someone who
Gotta
listens
stay-
for longer,
gotta stay
but it
okay.
has been suggested that the consequences could be dire. If the creature ever escapes again, the containment site is ordered to be destroyed via the detonation of an on-site nuclear weapon. Under no circumstances can it be allowed to make its way out into the world again.
Yeah,
Even
please
with
no.
all these precautions in place, SCP-058 has been responsible for over 150 deaths at its current containment site. There are some at the Foundation who have campaigned for
current.
SCP-058 to be terminated, believing that there is more harm than good done by keeping it alive. However, all attempts to terminate it have so far failed. No matter how much physical trauma the heart suffers, it does not seem to be able to be killed. It can only be incapacitated for a short
What does
time.
it take to kill
There is a
some of
classic
these
horror
things?
story by Edgar Allan Poe called The Telltale Heart. In it, a man murders an old man and buries his body beneath the floorboards of his home. There, even though the old man is certainly dead, the murderer swears he can hear the beating of the heart coming up through the floorboards. No matter what he does to quiet the sound, he cannot escape it, and is eventually driven mad by the incessant beating of the dead man's heart.
Is Heart of Darkness like
SCP-058 may not
born
be
of
a
that
man's
story?
heart, a human heart, or even a real heart at all. However, just like the Telltale Heart, it continues to impossibly beat no matter how hard anyone
Oh,
tries
that's not what
to
that
stop
tickles.
it. The steady
Stop it,
thump
you.
of its pulse haunts the SCP Foundation, a grim reminder that there is something within its walls that can and will kill everyone it can if given the chance. It couldn't be destroyed by collapsed buildings. an armored tank, or an army of experts. And the contingency plan of a nuclear blast is not even guaranteed to work. It is entirely possible that, once the facility has been laid waste and all the staff have been incinerated, and the smoke has finally cleared, the heart of darkness will still be there, still beating, still talking, and still killing.
See, and that is where, again, I sit here and I go, what does it take to actually end a majority of these SCPs? They all just seem indestructible, immortal, they regenerate, they come back, or, you know, if something happens to them, they will disappear and then reappear somewhere else, and they just don't die. And that is where the SCP universe is just filled with nothing but terror and fear, because the regular world still goes on about its daily life and its daily routines, never truly understanding and knowing the absolute fear and terror that lies within certain facilities. It is just, it's such a cool universe. I love it so much. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. If you want to go check out these channels for yourself, link in the description below to go and check them out. I recommend that you do. There's always so much more to see on those particular channels of SCP and animations and fun, terrifying things to experience. But if you enjoyed this as much as I did, make sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought about these videos. If there's any videos you'd like to see me react to in the future, give me some suggestions right down below, take them all into consideration. And if you're new around here and you've been enjoying what you're seeing, why not click that subscribe button and click that bell to get notified of the next video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!